indiasourcing.net. If you haven't heard, we've recently launched our new website where you can get everything you need to source private label products from India, including a lot of content, connections to verified suppliers and service providers, as well as, what was the third one? Community. Content, connections, community. How can I forget? The 3 C's. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Webinar Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about some Amazon hacks with our good friend Chris Thomas. He's waiting backstage. But before that, Margaret and Kevin, how's your week going so far?
We're in lockdown. Well, we're in lockdown and it's freezing cold, so life is really good in Victoria at the moment. It's nearly snowing and we're locked at home, so yeah, great.
Yeah, things are not looking good in Singapore as well. The number of cases has been rising for the last couple of days, and we're back to some restrictions, no dine-in, and schools might be off as well. We don't know, but yeah. When will all of this be over?
Yeah. But anyway, Maglet, I've been doing a bit of research on some new factories in India. So being in lockdown mode, sort of nothing else to do. So
yeah, no golf.
No golf.
Yeah.
So
right.
Bit of research.
Okay. That is amazing. We also wanted to remind everyone that our PPC workshop with Ritu Java is starting this week. So if you are relatively new to Amazon, if you want to understand the basics of PPC, and if you want to get a good handle on how to create campaigns, how to optimize your campaigns, and how to select the right keywords for your campaigns, and how to launch products using PPC, this is an excellent workshop for that. This is the second time we're hosting this workshop. We had about, I think, 60 people join the first workshop, and quite a few seats have already been filled for the workshop that's starting this week. So if you want to learn more about PPC from the best of the best, Ritu is absolutely amazing. She recently, in fact, spoke at Prosper Show, and she gave 2 talks there, not one, but 2 presentations about Amazon PPC. She was on a panel discussion, and I think she gave another talk. So Ritu is really, really good with PPC, and she knows it inside out. She's the CEO of PPC Ninja, and she literally lives and breathes PPC every day. So this is what she does, and she's just a PPC queen. So, Mark, Kev, do you want to add anything about the workshop?
Yeah, I just think the workshop's fantastic, and like having the Telegram group there as well, that people can, go away and think about it, because there's a lot to take in, but you can come back during the week and ask any questions, and, either talk to Ritu or other people in the group will help you. So I think that's a real bonus. And the fact that after you've finished with the actual mastermind with us, that you can go on to Ritu's, I think it's 4-week program where it's free, where you can jump on with her as well for more assistance down the track. So it's a double bonus, I think, as well with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's literally a no-brainer if you are selling on Amazon. If you've just started out, especially, it is more for beginners. There's not a lot of advanced stuff over here. It's for beginners, but you should be selling already. So it's preferable that you have a listing or you're going to launch a product soon. So check out the dates. If you're in the US, it starts this Friday, and if you're in Australia or Asia, it's Saturday morning. And this is the URL on your screen. We hope to see you at the workshop. The other thing that we wanted to quickly talk about was Airwallex, and a couple of people have come back to us and said that they have not been given the special rates that we have negotiated with Airwallex. So we want to just remind everyone to make sure that you use this link. When you sign up for Airwallex, make sure that you use the link that we have from them. And if you use this link, you will be able to get 2 benefits. One is, if you're outside of Australia, you're going to get the Australian rates, which are much better than the rates that they give to people outside of Australia. So you definitely want to get those better foreign exchange currency rates. And there are also things like transfer fees is lower if you have the better package, the Australia rates. So really, if you're outside of Australia, this will be very, very beneficial to you, as I am learning, because I am in Singapore, and there are definitely benefits. Make sure you use this link. The other advantage is is that you get 20,000 Australian dollars equivalent in foreign exchange conversions for free. That means that it's 0% or $0 fees on these conversions wherever you're located, whether you're in Australia or outside of Australia. So that's another advantage that you get. Right, Mark?
Yeah, look, and I think they're great. Their rate's fantastic. I actually did a transaction the other day, and I always open up Yahoo on my phone to check, and I actually got a better rate than was showing on Yahoo by just a fraction. So the conversions you get are by far the best. I mean, we've had some great savings with it in the first month, and I know you have as well, having paying our VAs and things like that. You're saving, what, about $35, $40 a payment or something, aren't you, on those?
Yeah. Exactly. We're saving on transfer fees, and the conversion rates are definitely better, and it's faster. That's something I've noticed as well, that like the VAs can receive the money in INR in, like the next day, whereas in with the bank, it usually takes like 3 or 4 working days.
Yeah,
so
no.
The VAs are happy.
Well, my Amazon payment comes through virtually within 24 hours of the sign off. On my Tuesday night, I have it in my bank about just before midnight on the Wednesday night, which used to take until probably sometimes Friday previously. So yeah, I'm very, very impressed.
Yeah, same here. So definitely check out Airwallex at this link. And in case you sign up but you don't see the preferential rate or this offer, reach out to myself or Marg or Kevin, and we will help you. Okay, so who is with us? Victor says, greetings. Sounds like you'll have a good session tonight. I can't stay on long, but we'll catch the recording. Awesome. Thanks a lot for joining us, Victor. Trish is here as well. Good morning.
Hello, Trish.
Good morning, Trish.
Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to add Chris onto the screen. Hello, Chris. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
You need
Good
one of
afternoon.
our India mugs, Chris.
Oh,
Yeah, where's the
I'll
India
have to
mug?
send you one. Oh, no, I meant our black one. Hold your black
Oh,
one
the
up.
black one, yes.
Next
Yeah,
time
I
I
think
see you, I'll bring one.
thanks. I think the tankard is probably more sort of for beer or something, and maybe not
Yes,
so much
yeah.
for a hot cup of coffee. Yeah,
Coffee.
That's it.
Okay, awesome. So, Chris, we are so excited to have you on our webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. And there are quite a few things that you're going to be talking about. First of all, do you want to just give a quick intro for people who might not be aware of who you are and what you do?
Do those people exist?
Maybe someone living under a stone.
Yeah. So my name is obviously Chris Thomas, and I have been selling Amazon since about 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. Been in e-commerce since about 2001. Now I've got an agency here in Australia where I help Australian brands and some international brands sell both on Amazon Australia and also globally, which is really fun. So kind of pivoting away from products a little bit. Still got my hand in on the products, but also moving a little bit more into services at the moment, which is fun too, because I get to talk to more people, such as yourselves. So that's kind of my story. It's pretty all over the shop, really.
Awesome. Regina says she uses hers for soup. That's perfect for soup. Okay, Mark, do you want to get things started?
Yeah, well, Chris, do we want to have, maybe I know I've read about your hacks with getting brand registry quickly. So do you want to give people a bit of a chat about what you've been doing and how you've done it, please?
Yeah, sure. So for one of my clients, I was stepping them through how to set up brand registry about a month ago. And basically what happened was that I noticed that there was a pending registration number that you could put into the brand registry world. Rather than having an absolute, kind of like gone through the entire process of approval for a trademark, etc. Before, in the past, that was what you had to do. You had to wait for your trademark to be approved before you could get brand registry with Amazon. But there was this new sort of feature in the drop down, which was a pending one. So I thought I'd give it a try. A couple of weeks ago, I registered a trademark here in Australia. I think it cost me about 250 Australian dollars to do that, just to self-serve. Didn't take very long. It's probably about 10 to 15 minutes. That trademark then went into sort of a pending phase, for examination and objection, all that sort of stuff. But it does come up with a pending registration number. And where that sort of landed at that point was that I grabbed that number and then plugged that into brand registry for the account that I have, the Amazon account. And within 24 hours, it was live. So just to give people a context, 250 Australian dollars is about 185 US dollars. So it's less than 200 US dollars. But there are some caveats. This trademark doesn't actually protect me in the United States from other trademark owners that have exactly the same trademark. And it doesn't offer me any brand protection as such on Amazon in the United States. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm actually registering the exact same trademark in the US. And so when that gets registered, I'm going to add that to my brand registry account. And then I'll have protections and all the brand goodies that trademarks offer and brand registry offers you on Amazon in almost any marketplace. So that's probably the first hack there. Is there any questions about that? Is that anything unclear about how I did that?
No, well, I'm just thinking, I think either whether they use the AU or go through US, you can use that Madrid protocol, can't you, after 6 months and get a trademark anywhere. Like if you then wanted to go on to UK or anything like that, I think they can then take that service as well. I think there's a small fee to do that.
Right.
Which is another thing. If people want to do global, I think, or how now you're popping up with Germany, Amazon saying, hey, you're selling Germany. Well, the problem is if you don't have brand registry in all those places, you get lots and lots of hijackers, because we're in Canada and we've always got 1 or 2 or 3 hijackers on. But I mean, if you were really into it in a big way, you would want to start doing those trademarks, I think, around the world. So maybe that's something to look at to do down, because I think it takes about 6 months, and at that point you can apply for this Madrid protocol, and I'm pretty sure then you're covered sort of globally with that, which would probably be really good.
Yeah, that's really clever. I mean, it's pretty easy to go global with, say, an cheap Australian trademark to get the advertising and the product page and the A+ and all that stuff. But in terms of what you're talking about, which is actual brand protection in each of those marketplaces through brand registry, then the Madrid protocol sounds really good. I don't know much about that. I don't know whether
you can do. I think you can do it from Australia, from your Australian trademark as well. But my concern would be because we're sort of trying to say to people, well, you should be building your business to sell, that if you don't grab that US trademark now, you could end up, having someone else grab it, a little prospector waiting in the wings to make some money like they do on, all the domain names and things like that. So it's just, but I mean, it's a good way to get it really quickly if you're desperately wanting that trademark now.
Absolutely.
Or if you're selling in Australia, I mean, you need it, really.
Oh, yeah, totally agree. There's another thing too that I mentioned a few years ago. In fact, I think I actually heard it from Mike Bellamy. What's the name of his legal firm? Asia Bridge Law, I think. He did a speech at the Global Sources Summit. Is that right, Megla?
Yes.
And what he was saying was that there were some horror stories about brands, and we've seen this happen with some really big brands who operate out of China or manufacture in China, where Chinese, what do you call them, kind of trademark hijackers, they register your trademark before you do in China, and in China it's first to file. That's it. Like whoever files first, there's virtually no objection or opportunity to object. So what it means is that these trademark owners of your brand, if you're manufacturing in China, can use Chinese customs to actually prevent you from shipping your own goods out of the country at the border, because you're using their trademark in China. And even though it's your product, or you might have trademarks elsewhere. So and so a lot of companies have actually been held to ransom where they haven't been able to get their products out of the country, and they're so desperate to get them out that they pay like a ransom for a so-called licensing fee to these trade. Sorry, did I say ransom? I can't believe I said that. So I quickly actually registered the trademark for my own brand in China. So there's probably another little hack there. If you're starting to get quite big in terms of your business, it's really good idea, and you're obviously sourcing out of China, really good idea to get yourself protected that way.
And another thing you can do is, sorry.
I was just going to say, we're looking at it for India too, aren't we, Mark?
Yeah, we're just having a look and seeing, what's involved. But I think now you can also contact US Customs and register your trademark with them, so nobody else can bring something in with that name into the US. So if the Chinese do happen to get it out, that it can't come into America. So that's another little hack that you can also use by just letting customs know that that's your trademark, and it's it'll stop the goods coming in with your name.
Let's see if we can get some.
It's also good to get your trademark registered in India so that no other factory can produce your product. So in case another buyer or another Amazon seller asks another factory to make your product, if your product is patented, or if your brand is trademarked, another factory can't really produce it. So that's another benefit. Let's see if there are any questions. So guys, if you have any questions for Chris, please type them in the comments. We have Ari Shaker. Prabhu, Chris looks like Jeff Bezos. There you go, Chris. That's a lovely compliment, isn't it?
Been up into space today, have you?
I was space, Chris.
That's good. The weightlessness was unbelievable. Yeah.
The 10-minute and 25-second ride. Okay, so Victor's interested in hearing about your experience with crowdfunding. So maybe we can talk about crowdfunding first, because Victor it needs to go. So Mark, do you want to lead that conversation?
Yes, well, Chris, I know you've done a bit of crowdfunding in your career, so do you want to maybe tell people your stories of what you've done and where you've ended up with it?
Well, I can tell some stories about me, obviously, and I can tell stories of friends, and I can tell stories about other people that I know. But I'll give you some examples. So my first experience with crowdfunding was back in 2013, which is fairly well publicized now. But basically, because I've been doing e-commerce since 2001, I had basically a single one-trick pony e-commerce website that was generating probably about 40, 50,000 in profit per year. So it wasn't a huge business. It was something on the side while I worked full-time. In 2013, I decided to redevelop that product and launched it on Kickstarter, and it did pretty well. It wasn't the biggest Kickstarter campaign by any stretch. But at the time, though, I think it was Australia's biggest, or maybe second biggest crowdfunding campaign. At a modest $110,000 was raised from that campaign with 2,300 backers or thereabouts. What that did was actually supercharge my business in terms of the amount of cash flow that I had, because you're not actually giving up any equity in your business at all. In fact, people are kind of basically pre-ordering your product. And it did two things. It validated that the product idea was good, in that people wanted to buy it if I was to go on and commercialize it, which I did. But it also gave me a huge injection of cash to be able to fund the production run. And there was plenty of profit on top of that as well. Fast forward to 2021, I'm about to do the same thing with two products. So I've been busy the last couple of 18 months or so working on a handful of products, and we've finished the final prototypes on those. So I'll be launching those again. Now, a lot of the work that happens with a crowdfunding campaign, in fact, pretty much all the work that happens with a crowdfunding campaign has to be done before the product actually launches. You can't just look. Kickstarter and Indiegogo are very, very similar to Amazon. Okay, you don't get any visibility on your product or your creation on Kickstarter or Indiegogo without a huge amount of sales or pledges very, very quickly. So, and just like on Amazon, you can't just sort of put a product on Amazon and hope for the best. You actually need to launch it. You need to engineer those sales to kind of match, the current sales of your competitors, to try and sort of get ranked on various keywords and whatnot. So what you need to do is basically create an audience, whether that's through social media, whether it's on Facebook, creating your own Facebook group, inviting people in to share in the creation and the development of your project, get them excited about it, so that when you actually launch the product on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and ideally both, you end up with a flood of pledges that happen very quickly. And so the rule is basically, if you can't get to your target, so you have to set a bit of a target with these crowdfunding campaigns, within the first 48 hours, even better in the first 24 hours, you're really probably not going to trip the algorithm into highlighting your project, within Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or a crowdfunding platform. So to give you some examples as well from some friends of mine, there's a friend of mine called George. Now, me and my brother actually partnered with George, where we wholesale from him. He's got some computer keyboard stands that we sell in the United Kingdom that do extremely well in the US. And we said to him, look, we've already got an Amazon account in the United Kingdom, so we'd be really happy to, if we can buy those from you, that'd be great. And he's offered to do that. It's the second generation of his product, and he recently just finished a crowdfunding campaign for the third generation of this computer keyboard stand. And he raised, again, very modest, but he raised, I think it was about $35,000 to basically fund production. So he doesn't have to dip into his own pocket. He's got thousands of new backers. And what that means too with all these backers is that when you launch on something like Amazon, you can tell everybody, and you've actually got your own audience. You own that audience, and you can basically get them over to your Facebook page. You can get them onto your Instagram account. Anywhere that you want to advertise, you can attract those backers, those previous backers, to your campaign. and also use them to launch products on Amazon as well. In fact, really, get maybe even sneaky, get some reviews to get your products well reviewed and also sort of launched and off to the races pretty quickly. So there's a huge amount of benefits to crowdfunding. I'm not seeing that many people really talking about it. I'm going through a course at the moment where the two creators of the course, because 2013 for me was a long time ago, 7 or 8 years ago, I needed to bone up and find out what the latest hacks are for setting up a crowdfunding campaign. And so I've joined this course. These guys, between them, have raised over $6.5 million in the last 3 years using crowdfunding. So real businesses, real brands can be created using crowdfunding. It's a great way to get a lot of capital very quickly for your products.
Do you need to have a very unique product, or can you do it with an average sort of product or something that's,
a garlic press?
You seriously, yes, you can. And just to give another example then, so the two lads that I'm going through this, well, they're training me on this course at the moment. They launched a set of 6 coffee glasses, insulated coffee glasses, and rather than sort of being round, they made them kind of square, sort of think that, and then they twisted it a little bit. That's it. They raised, I think it was about $675,000 US.
Wow.
Wow. So one of the things that us Amazon sellers do is that we look for ways that we can differentiate the products that are already on Amazon or improve them in some way, and then we try and launch them and hope for the best, right? Not, generally, but we've created a better mousetrap. What if you're in that mindset where you are, rather than just private labeling and doing the garlic pressing mug and throwing on the the brand label on an existing Alibaba product, like a lot of people used to, if you're innovating a little bit and making a bit of a twist on a product idea, then crowdfunding may be an option for you as well. If you already have your own audience you've built up like your own email list, you've got an Instagram following or a Facebook group for your brand and your products, as you innovate your new products, that is your audience right there that is going to pounce on your crowdfunding campaign and really set you off to the races, if they really believe in what you're doing. The next thing too, of course, is that what you want to do is start on Kickstarter, for example, and then you can go straight over to literally straight after the Kickstarter campaign's finished, get cracking on Indiegogo and replicate the campaign there. And so it's and then here's another little hack as well for crowdfunding, is that during the campaign and also after the campaign, what you can be doing is collecting the people that are pledging on your campaign. You can collect all of their email addresses and their phone numbers and stuff. And there's a way of doing that using SurveyMonkey or whatever. And if you get all of those email addresses, I don't know how much you guys know about, say, Facebook advertising and lookalike audiences and stuff like that, but you can create lookalike audiences around this group of people that are pledged to buy your product. And what Facebook does is work reasonably hard to find people that are just like those people that backed your product or your project. And so you can then amplify your campaign and bring more people into your campaign and just by doing that. So there's so many benefits, it's almost silly.
Victor says, I was quoted $25,000 to prep the Kickstarter campaign by a service company. $15,000 of that was for media and assets. So does that seem normal? I mean, would you know like how much service providers charge for this sort of a thing?
I'm actually not too familiar with the service provider stuff, and I know of a few of them that are around, but I don't know what they charge. I haven't actually sort of got to that point yet. I'm hoping that I won't need to, and then I can do it myself. So we'll see.
Victor, maybe you need to connect with Chris and do the course that he's doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think if you, I think where I stumbled across this course was actually from Gary Huang. And so he interviewed Johnny Lowe, I think, who's one of the founders of the course, from Live My... Vance. Yeah, Vance, that's right.
Vance,
yeah. Vance and Johnny, yeah. So I'm happy to get them on my podcast as well because they've got a really interesting course and it's very, very comprehensive. Okay. And we're just going through the final module at the moment, which actually talks a little bit to what Victor's question was about, like, service providers and those sort of options as well. I haven't actually got up to that bit yet. Sorry, Victor. So I can't really comment.
Here's another question from Deborah. How do you protect your product IP with crowdfunding? I assume that in crowdfunding you get the context of all the backers.
Yeah, so the IP is a really tough one, guys, and there's been many examples where I remember one, I can't remember exactly what it was, but even before the campaign had actually finished on Kickstarter, the Chinese were already manufacturing it and selling it on Amazon within 6 weeks. So it can happen. There is a big risk around it. But what the Chinese don't have, or people that copy your project don't have, is they don't have your brand cash. You know, they don't have those backers. They don't have all those assets. So at the end of the day, it's still worth pursuing in spite of the IP stuff. Yeah.
And Chris, like a normal business, right? If I've got a bricks and mortar business and I take in partners or get people to sort of fund me, then they become sort of they want to share the profits, right? If I'm doing good, they want to share the profits because, hey, like a bank, they lend you money and they want something back from your involvement. How does that all work with crowdfunding and such?
It's a completely different model, Kev. So they've got
I understand it's a different model, but just give us a couple of quick points.
Sure. Well, first of all, what the backers are going to receive by backing your project is basically the product that you're looking to sell or looking to commercialize or develop. The other thing but you're not actually giving away any equity at all. Another thing to keep in mind, though, is that Kickstarter and Indiegogo, I think they take about 5% of your project. So obviously, if you raise $100,000, they're going to take $5,000. I don't think there's really too many other fees associated with that. So you've got to be mindful of that as well and sort of build that into your numbers. Yeah,
that's not bad, though.
Yeah.
That's
not bad.
If
Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say that the other thing you can do too is what I'm doing at the moment is I'm actually following projects that are quite similar to the ones that I'll be launching, and just by pledging $1 or making a micro pledge, then I get access to all of the updates from those creators. So I don't have to actually buy the product if I don't want to. I can actually just pledge usually there's like a really tiny little pledge amount, like $1 or $5 or something, and so that way you can actually spy on the campaign and see how. All the updates that are normally kept private because you can't see them because you haven't backed the project become visible to you, and that's another little hack there as well. Sorry, there was another question there as well about we're getting a lot coming through on this crowdfunding bizzo.
So Marsha Festival says $8,000. Yeah, I didn't
Gadget
reach
flow
my target.
Oh, Marsha, I'm so sorry. I don't know.
So what is the real, what is the one thing or the couple of things that really determine the success of a project? I mean, is it the initial, sort of splash that you do? Is it that, or is it the product? I mean, you have to have a really, really good product that appeals to people, or is it more of how you advertise it and the videos that you create around it and the content and all of those things? Like, what are some of the key ingredients of a successful campaign?
It's a really good question, Magla. I think there's no doubt that you need to have that initial flush of backers that get you to your target as quickly as possible in your first day. The second thing that you need is you basically with that, and in order to do that, you need to have that audience behind you. You can't, like I said earlier, you can't just sort of put it on Kickstarter and hope for the best. So once you've got that initial flush, then that visibility kicks in from the algorithm that Kickstarter and Indiegogo has that gets your project promoted on maybe the homepage or certainly within a category. And then Kickstarter may also, of course, and Indiegogo start, because they email all of their backers as well. The backers on Kickstarter and Indiegogo are probably the most wealthiest e-commerce shoppers in the world, and they are very open to. I'm not kidding. Actually, they spend buckets and buckets on projects. Because they want to get the first of everything or the newest of everything, the shiniest, greatest little object that's around. The video is definitely important. It's very important to try and hook, the viewer in. So when I remember back in 2013, I actually watched about 15 videos of different crowdfunding campaigns, and I remember there was one that really hooked me. There was a guy called Peter Derham, I think, from Peak Design, and he started his video with, "Hey guys, I'm Peter Derham from Peak design, and I'm really excited to show you the secret, this project I've been secretly working on for the past 18 months, and I hope that I can encourage you to support my project. That's sort of, what's the secret? Like, what, it really hooked you in to watch the rest of it. So when I did my crowdfunding campaign, I basically just stole that line, steal like a, what's that phrase? Steal like a artist. You just take the best things that work. You just want to kind of grab all those things and condense them into into your own sort of project. The actual campaign page is really important, and certainly getting back to everybody who's asking questions or just getting in touch with you generally. It's a pretty busy time, and make sure that you're staying really engaged with your backers as well. Hope that answers your question.
I was told that TV commercial quality video is essential.
Absolutely not. There are some that do go a little bit viral. I think there was one like, I'm going to make mashed potato, which raised about $57,000 or $60,000. There was a guy that basically got funded to make mashed potato. So, oh no, it was a potato salad. Sorry, that's right. I'm making potato salad. That was one of my favorite Kickstarter campaigns. That definitely wasn't a TV commercial quality at all, and neither was the one that I did back in 2013. And there are dozens of examples of really successful Kickstarter campaigns at the moment that just aren't. There was one of the girls that's going through the campaign through the course. Actually, she was in the previous beta of the course. She sold. She raised, I think it was $140-something thousand with some Sichuan hot sauce, just her own recipe from China. She had it shipped all the way to the United States, got through FDA, all that stuff. She's now selling over $77,000 worth of this stuff on Amazon every month. Oh. So, again, one of the great advantages that we have as Amazon sellers is we know how to commercialize. A lot of people that create, crowdfunding projects don't know how to actually go to that next step and commercialize their products post, and so they often fail, which is very sad. So we've got a lot of advantages.
I didn't really know that you could use crowdfunding for things like food, because I always had this impression it's best for techie kind of products and gadgets and all of those things, right? But it's interesting to see that you can do any product basically, and you've got coffee mugs and
Yeah,
potato
salad. It always comes over to me like a sort of geeky type of subject.
Yeah, same here.
Sort of.
You saying Chris is a geek?
That's me, all right. But look, can I just re-emphasize a point here with say Peak Design? They have put their nose back in the trough of Kickstarter and Indiegogo more times than I've had a hot dinner. Like, they've raised now over $35 million using crowdfunding alone over the last 8 years or so, 9 years. Every year they go back to Kickstarter and Indiegogo and they'll raise, $3 million, $6 million, $9 million. They're just, what they're doing is that once they've got their first campaign out of the way, they can then just attract those previous backers to their next campaign, and it just keeps swelling and swelling and swelling. As long as you do a good job on each product and you maintain product quality and all the rest of it and deliver when you say you're going to deliver, you're basically home and hose. You can build a massive business off the back of this. It's not a geeky thing. It's a real thing. There's a lot of money in crowdfunding.
Yeah, I didn't mean it horribly, Chris. I just meant, for people to understand, it's a bit of a geeky type of, thing to understand, like a lot of stuff online, people, you explain it and people go, oh, it's like David Copperfield, disappearing and appearing again, for some people. So, it's great. Great information. Fantastic.
What's EFTPOS?
FPOS.
FPOS. What is that?
You don't have FPOS.
Oh, swipe your card, FPOS.
It's basically the merchant fees. Yeah. So when you process transactions on, like Shopify or e-commerce, and I think what Marsha's saying here is that there are additional fees on top of the for each transaction that is sort of each pledge, I guess, that goes through Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I think that's what she means.
Many of the products are second and third generation. I have seen 8th generation products being fundraised. The competition is tough as they have so much money and, of course, have pre-existing buyer lists.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's a really good point.
Good morning, Alan. How's it going?
Hello, Alan.
Good morning.
Okay, we had one question about trademarks. Let's talk about that, and then we'll move on to the next hack. So, can I use trademark registered in Singapore with pending status for brand registry in US?
I think you should be able to.
Yeah, just grab that serial number and put it into the brand registry, and you'll soon know they'll either reject it or accept it. But I'm pretty sure it'll be the same as the US one or an Australian one. It should work.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's worth a
Give
try.
it a try, Prabhu. It should work, yeah. And let us know if it doesn't. Okay, so let's talk about the next hack, Chris. And you basically said you have something about sponsored ads. What is that?
Oh, this is pretty boring. Sponsored ads is always a bit dull, but I know you've got this PP thing coming.
It's boring, but it makes you money, right?
It can, yeah, that's right. This one's a little bit less to do. Oh, it makes you a bit of money, but it's more about protecting your brand. So, with a lot of the brands that I work with in Amazon in the United States, they have multiple products, many products, and so what we've been doing for about 6 months or so is we've been running what are called product targeting ads against all the other products that they sell, if that makes sense. So if they sell product A, and there's a buyer who's sitting on product A of their page, products B, C, D, E, and F. Hang on, B, H, I, J, K. Anyway, I just lost track of my alphabet. How can that happen? Jesus. Sorry, I'm turning this into a fun trip. But basically, yeah, you can actually you can bid quite high to push all of the other competitors off these sponsored ads related to this product, and kind of make your products. Well, just protect your products, protect your brand. So I call it sort of like a brand protection campaign to take up as much of the real estate for not only, for your own products in the sponsored ads area of a detail page on Amazon. So that's a simple little hack there. I just thought I'd throw that in.
Okay, cool.
Don't see many people doing it.
Wendy has joined us.
Hello, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
Bye, Wendy.
Victor is going, so have a good night, Victor.
See you, Victor. Thanks for the questions, buddy.
Yeah, they're great questions.
Okay, Kev, do you want to do the next one?
Yeah. Virtual bundling, Chris. There's been sort of talk about virtual bundling and, sort of a few videos here and there. But do you want to sort of explain to the good people?
Yeah, so again, you need brand registry to do this. In fact, you can use an Australian trademark in the US to do this sort of stuff. So virtual bundling means that you can bundle two products together with its own separate listing page. So it's got it's a page which you create. It's a separate ASIN, Amazon Standard Identification Number. So it's got its own detail page, and you can bundle many products together, even though they're not actually physically being delivered by Amazon to Amazon customers. In fact, they're all delivered separately, generally, to Amazon customers. But Amazon customers kind of know from a virtual bundle that's what they're going to get. That things will probably come separately, and they usually do for Amazon customers anyway, because most of the time your inventory is distributed around lots of different warehouses. So so Amazon customers kind of used to that. Huge benefits here. One of my clients at the moment, I think they're turning over about $65,000 to $70,000 a month. Just over $20,000 worth of their sales are actually coming from these virtual bundles, where they've bundled various elements or various products together to create really nifty little bundles. And we're rolling out a lot more because there's just a lot of different ways that you can a lot of permutations around bundling. The bundles themselves also get their own reviews. However, at the moment, you can't actually advertise the bundles. So they kind of have to stand alone on their own. It's just a win. I love this program from Amazon. I think it's an absolute cracker, and looking forward to doing it more. A couple of things to note: you can't bundle two of the same product, but if you have like a parent-child variation family, you can bundle lots of the children, lots of different colors, for example, lots of different sizes. Any variation that you have, you can bundle one of each of any child variation or a parent variation or children, if that makes sense.
So it's sort of a bit of an extension of the frequently bought together, is it not?
It is.
You can pick that up and put them as a bundle, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know how much impact that's going to have on the FBT, whether you can actually win the frequently bought together just through those sales, Mark. It'd be really interesting to find out. And maybe, I'm not sure if anybody's done any experiments on that, actually. I should have a look at it.
It'd be interesting, to see. Yeah. I don't know, I was just thinking about that, and I thought, really, it's sort of, it's sort of that, but, because when you were saying it gets delivered separately, I thought, how many people are going to complain? I only got this and I ordered 3.
Yeah. Look, there is a little bit of flapping about, because you can do virtual bundling without brand registry yourself. Regina, thank you. I'm not quite sure how you do that, actually. Oh, well, you can actually. You don't need to use Amazon's virtual bundling service, I think. I think that's what you're alluding to there, Regina. It's a lot more messing about, and you also I don't think you get the Prime badge when you try and do it yourself as well. That's a little bit more of a discussion for another day, and I might talk to Regina off air after this chat to find out what she's talking about. Where's I go? But you do need to ideally create additional product images, like a main image that shows the actual things that are included in the bundle. So there is that sort of expense, I guess, or that investment that needs to be considered.
Yeah. As Regina, I think, talking about, where you used to be just under the headline where you can put in, create your own FBM listing. That's a different one again. I was thinking where you put that ad in at the bottom of 2 products together. I don't know whether that still works, actually. I haven't seen that by anybody for ages.
I don't know, to be honest. So you create your own FBM listings. So you create you've got an FBA listing, you've got an FBM listing, and then you can create the bundle using the FBM listing, and then add the products to it, and then you can ship them separately. Anyway, it's a long story. I think I've got that wrong. Sorry, Regina, we need to get you on the show.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So the next one you wanted to talk about was Amazon's brand referral program. What is that? And this is something that's been recently launched. And how does it all work? And have you looked into it at all?
A little bit. I haven't actually used it myself yet. I don't know how many people have. It's so new. It's only been around for about a week. Something really interesting development here from Amazon, where they're basically creating an affiliate program for brands. So, or an associates program for brands. We've known about the associates program for affiliates, and so there are millions and millions of Amazon affiliates who drive traffic in from either websites or advertising or something, into product pages on Amazon, and then they get like a 2 or 3% commission. It's pretty terrible at the moment in terms of the actual commission on the sale. But Amazon, literally last week or maybe a week or 2 ago, launched this thing called the Amazon Brand Referral Bonus Program, and Amazon's offering around 10%, depends on the category that you're selling in, the products that you sell. But if you drive external traffic to your listings and one of those external traffic people buy your product, you will end up with a bonus of 10%. Amazon's going to pay you this money to do that. So my feeling on this is that Amazon has decided maybe it wants to cut back on its own spending with advertising. So we've seen a lot of Amazon advertisements, particularly in Google Shopping and stuff like that. I'm wondering if they're starting to wind that back and hoping that the brands themselves will start advertising on Google and Facebook and all those kind of advertising channels to drive traffic into their own listings in order to take advantage of the bonus. It's a really interesting development by Amazon, but there's also a sort of a feeling around the traps, that I'll call it a feeling, that by driving this external traffic in, maybe social traffic or bot, sort of using messenger bots or whatever you're doing to drive traffic in, it's going to create a lot of signals to Amazon that there's a lot of external traffic coming in on your listings, which potentially, and I think it's too early to say, will actually help you rank higher on Amazon for your main keywords as well. So I think that's sort of the feeling around the traps at the moment. So we'll just have to wait and see with this one, but it's a really interesting development by Amazon. Geez, they're tight.
I know. So you basically are getting referral to drive traffic to your own listing. So it's not, like the referral program where you drive traffic to other listings and all that. So this is your yes. own listing, your own products. It's almost like a cashback.
They probably take a fee out of it too.
Yeah, they probably do, yeah.
Probably. I think, for brands, though, they do need to stay on. There is attribution with this. Now, attribution basically means that, you can see the sales that are credited from your external traffic within Amazon. That's important, but for 2 reasons. One is that it allows you to see how much, if you've gone and spent, let's just say for argument's sake, you spent, I don't know, $100 US dollars on some Google AdWords clicks, and you've received 5 sales, from that traffic that you've sent in from Google. It enables you to sort of understand what your return on investment is on the $100 that you spent. So your ROI needs to be calculated by you, because Amazon's not tracking how much you're actually spending to drive that traffic in. It's just going to give you some money back, an additional 10%. So you get an extra $5 if you're selling products for $50 each, for example. So you want to be a little bit careful about how you're managing all of that.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so let's talk about the next one, which is Amazon Australia.
Oh, have we got enough time? Mark, do you want to kick off with Amazon Australia? What do you think? I've done heaps of talking. I'm boring people to tears here.
I'm really not very au fait with Amazon Australia, because we don't sort of sell on it, and I really don't take a lot of notice of what's going on here. So I think it's back to you, Chris, because you're a lot more in the know than I am. That's called handball.
Can you imagine a ball here? This is like called a hospital hand pass in Australian rules. Rules football.
We used to sell on Amazon Australia, didn't we, Mark?
Yeah, we haven't done that for about, I don't know, 3 or more years. We only did it for the first 6 months and gave up. It was just like waiting for paint to dry. I got sick of waiting.
Well, look, I think, obviously Zonguru had not obviously, but for many people in Australia, we're aware of Zonguru's recent, I guess, a webinar that they held probably, 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago now, where they were actually really talking up Amazon Australia, and I think they made some really, really good points about it. So one of the examples that they showed was like around a car cover, right? Just one of those covers that you put over the top of your car, protect it from the wind and the rain and the hail and whatnot. This is a car cover I think that was doing many, many thousands of dollars, like it was doing about $30,000 or $40,000 a month. And the main reason for that was because they were, first of all, pretty much the only prime seller of that car cover in Australia that had inventory in Australia. Basically, there's a lot of prime offers on Amazon Australia, but most of them are actually coming from Amazon Global, which means that those products are actually being shipped from the United States or other marketplaces around the world, and it takes a long time for Amazon to actually get those products to Australian customers. Amazon seems to be really rewarding sellers in Australia who put their products in an Amazon fulfillment warehouse. And given the fact that I think they've now got 2 in Perth. I was talking to Candy Birchall yesterday. She's saying that over in Perth, they have 2 fulfillment centres over there. We've got 1 in Melbourne, another one being built. There's 1 in Sydney, another one being built, and there's definitely 1 up in Brisbane as well. So Amazon is investing a huge amount of money in fulfillment and speed to customer, which no other retailer effectively can match in this country. So what they're trying to do now is get more stuff into their warehouses. And it seems to me that they're rewarding sellers who do that. And the other thing I'll say too, in terms of a hack, is that if there are products that Amazon is offering as prime products to, on Amazon Australia, and they're being shipped from, and they're doing really well. So we've got Zonguru, we've got Helium 10 now that can give us a really pretty close estimate in terms of what the sales numbers are. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of categories on Amazon and search terms on Amazon where there are products which are doing really well, in spite of the fact they're being shipped in from overseas. So you can kind of grab those products, private label your own, shove them onto Amazon Australia, and you're off to the races. So there's a lot of little hacks there around how Amazon Australia can be very profitable for some sellers.
And I think it's finding the right product, really. It's it's a little bit of a different marketplace to the US, and I think you've got to find something, that people tend to want to buy online, because Australians are still getting used to buying online. They're not like Americans who buy everything online. I think Australia's still finding their feet with that. And,
It's growing pretty crazily though, isn't it, Mark? I mean, there's no doubt about that. And so, I think I've said this many times before, but the riches are not in the niches on Amazon Australia like they are in the US and other marketplaces. The riches are in the top 100 best sellers in a category. That's where the riches are, and there's still plenty of them. So that's sort of where you want to look for your product research there. That's sort of where I think that's sort of where Amazon Australia is at. They're not going away. They've invested billions of dollars now. They doubled their revenue last year from $527 million to, I think it was close to 1.1 billion, and they're on track to do about 20 billion by 2025 or something. So they're really going to start to move the needle, I hope.
Yeah, and I think COVID's helped because everyone's learnt to go online, like people who've never had any online shopping sort of, in now grandma and grandma, pa are sort of jumping online and buying things as well. So I think that that's really helped Amazon Australia, take off a lot quicker too here. Because,
Absolutely.
we were forced into using it.
Are there any other marketplaces over there that you guys use? I mean, do you personally use Amazon or another online marketplace to shop for?
Catch.
Catch is more popular, is it?
Yeah, just Catch.
What's that other one? Kogan.
My Deal.
Golf Box.
No, of course. Kev uses Golf Box every day.
And then in my conversation yesterday as well, eBay, of course, yeah. Which a lot of Americans and UK and other people that sell in other marketplaces laugh at and go, "Really? You guys are still with eBay? Wow!"
Still?
Yeah, we still are pretty loyal. But Candy Birchall was actually mentioning Assemble too as a new marketplace that just sprung up here in Australia, which I haven't checked out yet. So there's that. Obviously, over in New Zealand, there's Trade Me. I should also mention too that Amazon Australia is now fulfilling to New Zealand customers. So New Zealand is effectively part of the ANZ now. And so anything that New Zealand customers can shop on Amazon Australia, and I think within 2 days they'll get their products delivered in New Zealand as well. So that's pretty good. Yeah. So it's opened up another. How many people live in New Zealand? Another 9 million people or something, or 7? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many are there.
I know how many sheep live there.
Do you think it would be a good idea to use your same
Seller Central
info from US to set up AU?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
But don't you need a separate email? Don't you need a different email?
You'd have to ask Kelly because she knows this sort of stuff.
We got into strife because we used the same email and it was so.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it was perfect. It was good. It was only because we were one of the very first people to sort of do it.
Yeah, it should be okay because usually for Amazon, I mean, most marketplaces you can use the same account. And for Singapore, I have my US account, so you can actually see all of your info when you log in
the Dropbox.
Central
Dropbox, so it's all
you
the
can
same.
see all of the different marketplaces. So you may have to submit your documents and do your verification and all again, but definitely go ahead and use the same email address.
Yeah, I'll just say one last thing about that as well. With the unified account, which is basically what Mark was asking there, was just around the fact that you can't actually you can't remove a marketplace once you've added it. Now that actually had implications for me last year when I was selling my Amazon business, where the buyer didn't actually want to buy the European side of the business. They only wanted the US and the Canadian side and the Australian side. So they just ended up with all of it, even though they're not actually using that bit. I would have loved to have kept that bit, but I couldn't because I can't separate. I couldn't separate the two.
Yeah, I know. We've tried to get rid of Mexico because, I mean, I get more hijackers than I get sales in Mexico, and we can't get rid of it. You're just stuck with it. It just won't go away.
Yeah, you can't decouple those marketplaces and shut them down. No. So it may have implications for when you're trying to sell your business at the end. So, yeah.
We have one question from Gil. I wonder if it's an incentive to not have traffic go to your Shopify, etc. So this is talking about the previous hack.
That's right, yeah. So, there's a few people in the forum basically saying this is Amazon trying to steal traffic away from our own owned assets, Shopify store or e-commerce store. Look, I think it's up to the business owner, or the e-commerce owner, to decide whether they want to trial this thing or go full steam ahead with driving traffic into their Amazon store rather than their Shopify store. I would suggest it's probably, with Amazon's fees and everything else, you're probably going to make more profit by driving traffic into your into your own store, but you may not have as high conversion rate on that traffic as compared to, say, on Amazon, where there's a lot more trust. So you've got to weigh it all up and run tests, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that was pretty awesome. Chris, do you have any more hacks?
I did. There's a couple, really, really quickly, because I know we're running out of time here. But I did actually jot down Amazon Posts. Not really seeing enough people use Amazon Posts. So that's in your advertising area. You'll see Amazon Posts. They're really quick to create, and they can drive a lot more brand awareness as well. So we're doing that with a lot of our brands that we manage. And then the other one too, if you are Geez, I need a drink of water at this point. But if you are quite gregarious and happy to sit in front of your mobile phone, you can use Amazon Live to promote your products as well. And you can do a showcase, and you can literally go live on Amazon with a video in real time with links to your products, and you can showcase them, you can show them off. And yeah, Amazon Lives are pretty awesome as well. Unfortunately, none of my clients have been brave enough to do it. I'm certainly not going to do it. I'm going to stand there with it's like a hand model, showing off some thing.
But can you get somebody else to talk about your product, like influencers and all? Or, that might be a better option, right? Have you looked into that at all? I have, yeah. So there are actually lots of influencers on in the Amazon Live program, and so most of which are women, and they get on and they'll showcase a whole bunch of random products on behalf of brands, and they also pick up the affiliate income from showcasing those products themselves. That's the influencer too. So I think we'll see a rise of the live influencers as they really start to understand the benefits of not only probably charging the brands to do the showcase of the product, but also make some money on the traffic that is sent to the listings themselves, and the 2% or so that they make on each sale on top of what they charge. So I'm seeing that more and more as well.
See, the world's full of opportunities for making passive income, isn't it?
It's not passive.
Well, you don't have to do a lot, do you?
You don't have to do much, no. And those live videos last forever. They're always, perpetuating around the place. So, well worth looking into there as well. So that's pretty much all I got for hacks this week. What are we talking about next week?
I was thinking of that. This could be a regular segment. Amazon hacks with Chris Thomas.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I'll tell you, if you want to get hacks, though, I'll tell you the guy, Gary Hong's newsletter is really good, just in terms of what's happening in the marketplace generally and what's happening with Amazon and just Walmart and all that sort of stuff. The other one too that I really love is Paul Harvey's email as well. Like, get onto Paul Harvey's email list because there was a couple of hacks that he actually did this morning in relation to the Amazon brand referral bonus program. So that 10 times in a row. And so, he was actually saying, wow, what if we used it like this? So I didn't want to say them today because they're quite, they're probably a little bit more advanced, but some really interesting things that Paul Harvey's talking about at the moment. So. Right.
So Wendy's asking, is Amazon Live only for brand registered?
You might have me on this one, Wendy. I think so.
I think it is. Yeah. I think all those extra things are.
Most all the extra things are all brand registered.
Yeah. Good question.
Cool.
Wendy.
Awesome. This was really amazing, Chris. Lots of fun. Lots of little tips and tricks here and there. So, do you want to tell people how they can reach out to you, contact you, join your group?
Sure.
Shout out.
If they're crazy enough to want to reach out to me, they can reach me at chris@christhomas.com.au. I'll try my best to get back to you. I'm pretty busy. Or join the Facebook group, of course, which is over at theaustralianseller.com/Facebook. Easy. Enjoy my little group of 2,100 or so people. It's quite modest, but we're pretty picky about who we let in. So make sure you've been good.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for your time today. It was absolutely
Pleasure.
Wonderful. And hope we can get you back again with some more hacks. That'd be fun.
Thank you, Chris. That's great.
Okay, thanks. We'll see you in Melbourne soon.
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully.
And guys, thanks everyone for joining us today. And we will see you at the Ppc Workshop. Don't forget, it's starting this week. If you're in Australia, Asia, it's Saturday morning. If you're in the US, it's Friday evening. The link is right here, theasianseller.com/ppc-workshop. Check out the workshop, sign up. It is definitely amazing. And we will see you next week with another Webinar Wednesday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.